looking for an easy way to create that very popular wavy text, you're in the right spot. I'm going to show you the way that I have found is the easiest way to create designs with this element. Also, I'm going to reveal a niche that I expect will make me around $10,000 in profit over the next 2 months. So you will want to start adding to this niche if you haven't already. Simply Shauna here, former 4th grade teacher, and now I'm a full-time 6-figure Etsy seller. I have no business background. If I could do it, you could do it too. On this channel, we talk all about Etsy and connecting our Etsy shops with a print-on-demand company, a company that prints our items for us and ships them. We don't have to buy products ahead of time. We don't have to touch the products. We design them, we put them in our Etsy shops, someone purchases them, the print-on-demand company makes it, prints it, and ships it out for us, and we just thank our customer. These are very scalable businesses, and these are businesses that you can learn on YouTube for free. Wavy text is all the rage right now, and if you're on Etsy to make money, even if you don't like the look yourself of that retro wavy text, you should think about adding that to your shop. Again, if you are on Etsy to make money, you have to put things in your shop that are selling and selling well. You have to let your designing be fueled by your market research. I was slow to add the wavy text to my shop, not because, well, I don't like the way the wavy text really looks, that retro look, but that wasn't why I was slow to add it to my shop. I struggled to find an app that was not incredibly time consuming for me to create it. So I use GoDaddy Studios, and there is a way to do it in there. Not the way that I'm going to show you today. It doesn't come out looking as cool, but there is a way to like curve the text one way and then make a new text box and curve it the other way. It's a bit time consuming. I tried Photopea and I had a hard time with that. I did make some cool designs, but I found it very cumbersome and slow going for myself. Then I happened across Kittle. That is actually what got me using the Kittle app. I love Kittle now. You may have seen some other videos I've done showing how to use Kittle. While I was putting this video together, I was scripting it and getting the designs together that I was going to show you. Kittle actually sent me an email and said, hey, we'd love to offer your subscribers a free trial. Let us know when your next video is going out, and the link will be good for 7 days. So that link is down in the description below. If you use it within the next 7 days, you'll actually get a full month for free. I looked all over for some like a freebie when I signed up for Kittle. I couldn't find one anywhere. So I was surprised they offered that. I was super excited about that and glad I'm able to share that with you today. Today we are going to be designing in the back to school teacher niche. And I do expect this niche to make me about $10,000 profit over the next 2 months. As a matter of fact, every month I do like my monthly numbers, how I did for the month, so you can see the growth of the shop. In my July and my August report, I'll go ahead and add in how much of my revenue and profit came through the teacher niche. So if you're curious about that and you don't want to miss that and you're not a subscriber yet, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss the next numbers report. In this video, I am going to start with the market research that led me, my thought process that led me to designing in this niche and to designing these types of designs. Now, if you don't want to do the market research part of that with me and you want to skip ahead to where I'm showing you how to create the wavy text, I will, as I'm editing, I'll go and pull that timestamp and I will just put a little text bar here somewhere for it to pop up so you know where to skip ahead to. Now, if you are going to skip ahead, I have to assume that you have the market research down pat, you're making regular sales, because if you are skipping the market research during your designing, you're not going to make any money on Etsy. I recently did a interview with my friend Lyneida. If you aren't making sales right now, you're going to probably want to go back and watch that. She made 2,000 listings in her shop and had only a handful of sales. That should not happen. If you are not making the sales that you want to be making, you're missing something. And I've noticed that a lot of people are missing that market research piece, so that's a good place to start. After the market research, we'll jump into a tutorial of how to use Kittle to create the design. And then I'll show you, after we have spent a few minutes creating the design, how we could scale very quickly the design into hundreds of designs, really. All right, guys, let's hit the computer and get some bestseller type of designs out there. If we want to be successful, we have to start with the market research before we hit the design process. I'm putting back to in the search bar there, and Etsy is auto-populating a bunch of predictions on how they think I'm going to finish this phrase. And this is important because that means these are widely searched. I am using the free version of Everbee here, and that's what you're seeing over to the side in orange. It's telling me how many monthly searches. So it's important that Etsy's already, auto-populating that, hey, I think we're going to finish your phrase like this. But then to get the actual monthly searches is really helpful information as well. Because I'm using the free version, a lot of these numbers are locked, but we can see there toward the top three they do give us. And here's the paid version for those of you that don't have Everbee, and I'm sure you'd appreciate having all the information here. So I figured I'd throw it on the screen for you. This screenshot was taken the day after the screenshot I just showed you. So you might notice that some of the terms are different or some of the numbers are different because this is, kind of updating often based on what people are searching on Etsy. So whether or not you have the paid version of Everbee, using the search bar and getting these terms is very helpful. If you do have Everbee, then you have this extra piece of knowing exactly how many searches are being searched for that phrase monthly. And this is super helpful when you're doing your research because now you know what niches or sub-niches you should be listing in because they're getting lots of searches. And this is also very helpful when you're doing your search engine optimization where you're collecting your title and your tags. That's your SEO, your search engine optimization. And you want to use the phrases that are going to put you on the map, that are going to help you show up for lots of searches. So knowing that back to school shirt there, the third one, has 1,198 searches, that's a nice number of searches where maybe back to school gift, well actually back to school gift is still nice, 2,798. Back to school teacher shirt is 1,176. Back to school flyer would be something completely different, but sometimes they're more related to things that you might consider using for that same item. And this only has 82. So if this was a related type of item, I would know not to use that flyer one as there's just not many monthly searches on it. All right, we're going to put back to school, back to school team teacher shirt. This is what I'm going to put in the search bar. I'm going to filter and I'm going to go down to star seller. I'm going to filter by star seller, which isn't really what we want. But once I've done that, I can go up to the search bar and replace star with best. And now I'll get all of the best selling items right to the front for me, and it makes it really easy to do my research. So we're going to kind of ignore the ones on ads. Usually that's going to be about every other line. And we're going to take a look at the ones that are not on ads. Let's click in here, bestseller. And we see these are just team shirts, preschool teacher, first grade teacher. I'm just looking for the phrases that are going well. I'm pretty sure I want to do grade level phrases. Third grade in cursive kind of in between, bestseller. Fourth grade vibes, bestseller. Kindergarten squad, bestseller. Teachers like to buy matching shirts for their team at the beginning of the year. So these are all bestsellers. We can kind of take note that, it's going well to just place the grade level on the shirt. This is the time to sell these. They are going to sell well mid-July through about the first week of September. These grade level shirts will sell really well. So I started stocking my shop with these already about a month ago. I started working on this, and I'm going to continue working on that right through probably mid-August. And I just want to address something real quick here. I'm showing you how I'm using Everbee, and I do have the paid version of Everbee. You can use a free version, but you're limited to how much data you're going to get. I think it's like 10 searches. I am showing you that I'm using Everbee because this is a part of my regular process. This is how I do it, whether I'm talking to you on YouTube or whether I'm sitting at home, just doing my regular thing for the day and getting my listings out. If you do already have a subscription to something like Sales Samurai or eRank, I don't suggest getting a bunch of subscriptions unless you are actually using them. They each have their own strengths and weaknesses. I do have more than one subscription. I suggest going ahead, becoming an expert at whichever one you chose to go with, or perhaps cancel one that you're not using because you didn't find it user-friendly, and then try another one, and infusing that data into your decision making. The truth of the matter is you are going to be making decisions in your shop every single day. You're making decisions. The more data you have to infuse into those decisions, the better those decisions will be. Over time, you're making all these decisions every day. By the end of the month, you've made hundreds of decisions. This becomes very cumulative. So if you had a lot of data being inputted to each of those little decisions that were being made, overall, the overall effect of those decisions are going to be much more effective than had you not had the data or were not using data. So it's just something to consider to make sure you're using any available source of information or data to feed your decisions. There's lots of free sources of information, and that is all I used the first few months when I started Etsy. If you've seen my numbers report and you find yourself wondering right now, oh, well, geez, I wonder when she started making thousands, it was like this fast bump of making peanuts to making thousands. And if you're wondering, oh, I bet it was Everbee. No, it wasn't. There was a mix of ingredients. Everbee was one of the ingredients that helped me get successful, but it was not the magic pill. Nothing is the magic pill. All of the strategies that you're learning and hearing about, you have to practice all of those for them to come together to finally start, getting things moving in your Etsy shop. If you are interested in Everbee and this is something that you would like to get for yourself, I do have a link down in the description, and they do have a free trial, which I would suggest using the free trial before purchasing just to make sure that you like it. And some research to just further affirm that we're headed in the right direction here. I mean, I can tell you by experience because I'm in this niche that we are headed in the right direction. But just anytime you're doing any research, you can use this strategy to make sure you're headed in the right direction. So there are 2 listings here, and you can see the sales on that first listing. It says teacher, and then it's personalized with the teacher's name. They've got 3,942 sales according to Everbee's prediction, and it's been around for 15 months. The estimated monthly revenue is $4,004, which would even be more than that because they're pulling the starting at price to estimate that. So if they're using like a loss leader strategy where they've got one cheaper priced item that's not as likely to get sold, then that estimated monthly revenue is coming from that loss leader price being the thing that's selling, which it's not the one that's selling the most. And then over to the right, we see one that was only listed 3 months ago, and it already has 66 sales. And so we're going to see that grow through July and August because it's already off to a good start, and we're not even in prime time for those sales yet. So that's the research I would use when I'm going into a niche or a sub-niche of a niche to prove out that, hey, this is worth my efforts. This is worth me working in. So maybe you have no desire to work in teacher shirts, but you could use the same process to make sure that you're designing in an area that has demand. This also showed me that, hey, shirts that say the grade level, these are working. Lots of shirts are selling, flying off the shelves. 3rd grade teacher, 4th grade teacher. So that's the direction we're going. Another element of the research that I didn't really show here, but I have other videos that show it and walk you through it, is just noticing the elements that are working within that niche. You never want your listing to look like someone else's listing. That's going to take you nowhere fast. It's a big waste of time. But you want to notice what elements are working. So if you're working in the country western niche and you're noticing, well, lots of people are doing that bull with the horns like skull, or a cowgirl hat, or cowboy boots. So you would want to pull those elements and be mindful of that into your designs. I didn't walk you through that just now, but you do know that we're going with the retro wavy text. You can easily prove to yourself through research that this is something that is absolutely on fire and it's not going anywhere anytime soon. Time to jump on Kittle. Let's get that design made. It's going to take us a minute to create our template, but then we can easily scale it out to all the grade levels or really any position at school that we could think of. And then we could go into another niche and continue using this wavy text template that we're about to create. Here we are in Kittle. I'm going to click Add New Project. And I'm going to put 4500 by 5400 in my settings. This is for a t-shirt. And we're going to create. Here's our canvas, and over to the left we'll find this menu. It's the third icon down. It looks like an uppercase T and a lowercase t. Clicked on that. Then at the very top it says Add Headline. Underneath the title, Add Text. That's what I clicked on. And so I'm just stretching this out to go clear across my canvas. And now I've highlighted it, and I'm going to enlarge. I'm going to enlarge it. Well, first I'm going to put the word in that I'm thinking. I'm writing third here. We're going to write third grade teacher. So I'm now going to enlarge this, and it needs to be bigger than this. I want to go ahead and pretty much take up the whole space. I just tried 1000 in there. And now I'm going to do, you can put retro. I put retro in the search bar just to see what kind of fonts they have. I have an idea of which one I want to use, but this is just, trial and error. You're just going in and playing around. I know that I want to do this retro wavy text, so I want to go with something that's retro or vintage or 70s looking. We're going to go with this one up here. It's called Silly Days, and now I'm just going to scoot it up toward the top of our canvas, and I'm going to click Command C, Command V, which copied it, Command C copied it, Command V pasted it, and then I'm dragging it down, and I did it again, Command C, Command V to get a third one, and I just dragged it down. So now I have 3 text boxes. The top one is going to say third, the second text box is going to say grade, and the last text box is going to say teacher. I want them each to take up the whole space. I want to work with the whole space here. So I'm just going to be using the corners of the box here to just stretch it out and make these boxes kind of fit and take up the whole space. I'm going to do that for each of them, and I can just take the corners or the side like scroll bars there to manipulate them. And now I'm just gonna, instead of messing with the font, we could just grab the corner there, or the size of the font. Just grab the corner, stretch it out. All right, and it's okay that some of the text is larger than others. I want it all to be kind of one block. I've noticed that this has been really popular, like 3 lines of text, wavy text, and all of it starting and ending in the same spot. So kind of it looks like a box right now or a square right now. We're going to go ahead and make it curvy here in a second. Just fixing the word teacher there since I had teacher. Here we go. Reposition it a little bit. And we're going to get to the fun part in just a minute, which is the wavy part. There we go. Now I need to go ahead and select one of my text boxes. So I'm going to go ahead and grab third up there. Then I get my menu, and kind of toward the bottom it says transformations. I've got 8 options there of different transformations I can do to, the text. So I'll just kind of click through them. We've done the circle one before. We've used that. There's angle, the arch, the rise, the wave, and a flag, and we can manipulate these. I need to use that second one, distort, in order to get the look I'm looking for. So I have that clicked, and now just notice I can manipulate. I'm going to move everything down a little bit, so give me a little more space. By grabbing, now I need to do edit transformation, that little green box up there, edit transformation, because I already messed with it a little bit. Here we go, edit transformation. So now I get all these points that I can drag. I've dragged the middle up there. I can do that, and then I can slide this one over and pull the R out to the side. I can, just kind of manipulate these and play with these by dragging them or pulling them up or pushing them down, and it'll grab that kind of area of the text box and do that with it. So since I've already manipulated this one, each time I go back into it, I just edit transformation, that little green box that comes at the top of it. So I'm going to actually leave the top alone. I want it to kind of stay boxy at the top. Again, this is just something I've noticed has done well during my market research. 3 lines of text. And I'm only going to manipulate the bottom to kind of leave a straight line at the top for third. So I'm pulling this one up. Maybe pull this D out a little bit. Okay. And I know this is going into the word grade, but don't worry, we'll go and we'll fix that here in a second. I'm playing with this little lever here to see if I like this. I can pull it over. You know, I'm just dragging that middle one over. I can manipulate it that way. So it's just something you gotta kind of play with. You'll get a feel for it pretty fast. All right, so now I've clicked on grade, and I'm gonna pull that R up. I'm going to pull the A up by grabbing the dot closest to the A. Let's pull that R down a little bit. And now let's mess with the D. It's kind of like a teeter-totter, these 2 circles. They kind of work together. So as I pull the D up, the R might come down a little bit. And so I just have to kind of play with that a little bit, back and forth to get the way I want it to look. And I'm going to stretch that E out, the corner of it, a tad. And this word, we're going to, kind of mess with both sides. I need somewhere to stretch the teacher part into. So now I'm going to take grade and I'm going to make some curves down there. So I've got some places to pull the word teacher into. All right. And let's pull the middle of this up a little bit more. All right, now we can play with the word teacher. Make sure we're on distort. And I'm going to pull this one up here, bringing the C and the H kind of up. And I'm going to play with that little teeter-totter type of those 2 circles again. They kind of impact each other. Here's the other side of that. And I'm trying to get the word just kind of to fit nicely right into the spaces I made under the word grade. And I think I'm liking that. So we've got 3rd grade teacher. I'm leaving the bottom alone. And that's because of the market research. I really can't mention that enough times, like a big exclamation mark at the end of the words market research. So I noticed that a lot of bestsellers, 3 lines of text like we have here, the bottom and the top and the sides kind of create a square, and all the waves that are created are, kind of in the middle like we have here. It's like a square with the waves kind of in the middle, that retro look being, kept to the middle there with the waves. So I think I'm liking this. I'm just doing a couple of little adjustments, maybe getting the top of the teacher a little more stretched up. And now it's time to pick our color scheme. Teachers like colorful shirts, so we're going to add some color to this text. I'm going to give you about 5 seconds, and I want you to come up with an answer to this question. How are we going to decide? How are we going to make this decision of what color scheme to use? If you said market research, you've been listening A+, good job. Let's hit the market and pick some colors based on what we see is selling well. Let's take a look at that market research. I typed in retro shirts and I did my little bestseller trick there, and I pulled up this listing. And using our handy dandy Everbee, where we can really get a lot of information about this, we know that this listing is doing really well. It's about 12 months old. It's sold 1,980 times, and Everbee is estimating that the revenue is just under $3,000 a month. But that number is actually really far off, and I'll tell you why. Everbee is using their cheapest price to come up with their estimate of how much revenue this shirt is making every month. But this listing is using a loss leader price. Here we see that it's coming up with a really cheap price. It looks like it's going to be very inexpensive. And if you're unfamiliar with the loss leader pricing strategy, that is where you have one item that's not very likely to sell at a cheaper price, which makes the listing more clickable. More people will click on it. It will help it in the algorithm. On occasion, if someone does order that, you will take a loss on it. But most of the time, people are going to order the other items that you have that are more desirable for that design. You actually see most shirts are right around $18. And not only that, they also charge separate for shipping, an additional $7. So that is getting our shirts right up, to around $25. I often like to use the mom niche as inspiration for the teacher niche because there are many lady teachers. So I figure what's working well with the mom niche could have some success over in the teacher niche. So I'm going to go ahead and screenshot that either on my phone or on the computer, and I'll show you how to upload it into Kittle, and that way we can use that same color scheme. I'm going to go over here to this uploads icon, and that's how I'm going to grab that screenshot I took, and now I have it on my canvas. You see it up there in the left-hand corner. I'm selecting 3rd grade, and I went to text color, and now I'm going to that little dropper tool. And I'm just going to grab the color I want right from the graphic I have up there. Doing the same thing with grade, and you can see the green is now a document color, so it's there for me to grab again if I want it. I'm going to go over here and grab one of these orangey or yellow colors. So we'll grab that. We'll do grade there in that color. All right, let's see. Let's play with teacher. And this pink color, I like it. But you know what? I don't think guys are going to love it. And a lot of times you'll have people that want to have the whole team wearing a shirt, and I want that to be open to the team. I want the team to everyone to feel comfortable with that if there's a male on the team. So we're going to go with this orangier color. So now we've got 3rd grade teacher. This is going to be really easy to scale out now because all we have to do is go up to the word third and start putting other words there like 4th, 5th. And it's going to take the shape that we need it to without us doing anything extra. But first we want to download this one, and we need a transparent background. So I went into layers and I went into background there at the bottom. And then I took the opacity of the black background down to 0. So when you have these gray squares kind of in the background of your canvas, you know that you have a transparent background. And you're not going to get some white block behind your letters on your shirt. That would look terrible. So now I'm going to go ahead and download that. Let me pull this graphic out of the way so it's not on our canvas. I picked PNG. I went ahead and downloaded it. It's there at the bottom. Now we're ready to scale this out. So I'm deleting 3rd and I'm going to write 1st. And as you can see, when I click out of the box, it takes the shape. And that's perfect. 1st grade teacher. And now I'm going to do this with each grade level. 2nd is a longer word, but that's all right. It goes ahead and makes it fit just right for us. I'm downloading each of these with the transparent background. I'm going to do each of the grade levels. Other sister niches sell well at this time as well, like anyone you can think of that works at a school, a vice principal, an administrator, school psychologists, the ESE department, science teachers, social studies teachers. The list could go on and on and on. They all sell well for the beginning of the school year, so this could be all something we use. I'm going to put kindergarten in here. So we'll get our basic kindergarten through 5th grade teacher here. And then I've got all of these designs ready to go. And if I decide that I want to use this wavy text again, in some other totally unrelated niche, but I've got 3 words to use, I already have this done. I did it once and I can use it over and over again. We'll do a quick bonus one here. School, office, staff. Let's see how that looks. I have a lot of people reach out to me during the monthly reports, those number reports I do, and I always reveal how many listings I had for the month. And so if I say, I was shooting for 150 or 200 listings, I often have people reaching back out to me like, how is that possible? How are you getting that many listings? Do remember that I've got a very aggressive goal. My goal is to double what my shop did from last year. So I'm not going to be able to do that with a few listings every month. And I'm doing this full time. So my listing goals are aggressive. But this is how I accomplish that. scalable designs. And now I can sit here, I could probably have, I have a list of teacher related niches, like the school office staff. I've got like 50 of those. I could sit here and go, okay, well, all of these people that work at the school, I have that. A lot of the SEO I already have because I've already been in this. I already have done the legwork. I've laid down those train tracks for that. So I'm just duplicating from listings. I'm not redoing all the SEO. Whenever I get into a new niche, I've got to do all the research for that also. And so that takes time. But you can see how quickly we were able to put those designs together. Now, I add to things over time. So I've done all this research for this. Now I might try this again with another color scheme, and maybe I'm going to add flowers. Don't add happy faces. Those are trademarked, and they are aggressive about their trademark. Don't do that. If you found value from this content, please don't forget to smash that like button for me. And I suggest doing all of your designs and listing them twice. Another way that I'm able to reach my listing goals, but do an A/B test. Perhaps you could test profit pricing versus break-even pricing, or a live model mockup as your main thumbnail versus a flat lay mockup as your thumbnail. You can hear all about that in this video here. So I'll see you there, but not until after this tip from Tucker. Tucker, take it away.